All right, guys. So today we have my buddy Jamiah on the Zoom with us, and
Yep.
he had some. He was just quite new to Forex EA testing, and he wants to know how to optimize because most of the time, especially during like right now, like coronavirus conditions, market conditions are very different from what we're used to. And to be honest with you, I mean, I run several like Forex PAMs, and I have to sometimes reproportion the lot sizing up to 3 times a day. That was for a previous system which is my own system that I was running. And then eventually I decided to switch back to currency for that reason because it's too much volatility, like with gold, with Dow Jones. So, but optimization is something that we need to do continuously. Like during times like now, I think like once a week or once a month is really the bare minimum that you should do. Once a month is like a bare minimum that you should do. So now I'm going to share my screen and then I'm going to give you an insight on how this works. This is a system that my buddy sent me over. So basically, when I do testing, I will want to get some initial ideas based on what's like the default settings. So I'm going to just load up some default settings over here. And actually, at this point of time, okay, by the way, for those of you who are not sure, just click on this one, the funny numbers, click on the MQL4, and then go to presets. And then this one, they have fast and slow, I believe. And we're going to start with the slow one. This is actually an optimized file that I've done just before this video, but we'll show you the process of getting to that. So we'll start the slow. We're not going to bother aggressive because now the market conditions is crazy. So just start with this first. So just based on this, hang on, I'm going to check on the lot sizing. And we're going to keep it at this low lot size because when we're testing it, we want to test it for a very small account so that, people who are new to Forex, can get a feel whether this will work for them or not. So with that, we're just going to set it based on, we're going to base it on what the original programmer wants us to use. And we're just going to do with H1, I'm going to click start. So we're going to give it some time to gather some data. And in that time, we're going to see the bottom window, the data is going to increase if it needs to gather new data from the broker. So that's going to give us some data. And then we'll check out the results to see how complete it is. So generally what I want to look out for is there any breaks in the data. Let's say if it's jumping dates, that means our data is incomplete. How do we fix this problem? Many people would like to say that if the data is incomplete, go to tools, go to history center, go and download. But to be honest with you, I never really had much good results when I download from history center because I get a lot of useless data that go all the way back to 1971, which is you guys may know is done. We have to delete it anyway, and then the new data is pretty much invalid. So let's say if we need to gather adding new data, I always recommend the best route is to just disable your chart scroll, the auto scroll. Just drag it back, like for like a month or 3 months. This is the best way to do it because this will force the broker. As you do this, right, you're going to see the bottom right of the screen. The data number is going to increase. That's because the broker is you're actually forcing them to download data. Like right here, you look at the bottom here. You're forcing them to download the data into your computer. So this is the best way to get the data from the broker. Obviously, you want to check that. Let's say if you want to check that the bars in history. Let's say you want to put a reasonable number. If your computer is stalling for any reason, maybe you want to put like cut it down to 20,000. Max bars, you can cut it down to like 200,000, something like that. If your computer is stalling up, but if you're doing testing, the more the merrier. So that way you can get a good test. So anyway, we just drag this back. I mean, we're not testing this pair, but I'm just showing you, for example, how to do it. Now we go to the report and see the modeling quality is pretty good, 90%. And this also because like I run, I mean, this is a live account and I've been running it for some time. So it has plenty of time to gather data. That's why that makes the modeling quality high as well. Sometimes with a sucky coding, like Jamiah also sent me something else to test, and that is this one here. And earlier when I was running this test, I'll show you the quality. Quality actually shows okay at 90%, but the thing is that when we go into the results, it's kind of strange because there's a lot of breaks in the data. So this shouldn't be happening. So this means that, I mean, like, and usually when that happens, I go into the journal. I want to see, what's up with that. Anyway, so I think this one I had some problem earlier, and I think this could be the one. So if we just change this to false, let's run that again. Let's try that. We should be getting more trades this time. There we go.
There it is.
Yeah, there we go. Because I was just looking at the open and close, and yeah, just was trying to figure this out. Okay, so anyway, this was the original system that my buddy wanted me to test out. So we're gonna optimize this. Like I said, the other one I already have optimized it um, a while before this video. So let's go through the process to optimize something else. Now, basically, we always start with the set file that is given to us. So in this case, I'm gonna load up the set file. I'm gonna go back to that folder again. And you guys are watching this video, you get to see the whole process of it. So we're gonna go to presets, and this is for night profit. Again, we're gonna start with the slow. And based on this account size, I would recommend that we start with a 0.01. And we're gonna set this to false, so we have multiple trades at the same time. So we can have more trades going on. The recommendation is going to be the M1 by the manufacturer. So we're going to test the M1, and we're going to see, this is some initial testing to see what kind of result we'll get. Then we can compare whether we want to work with the M1, the M15, the H1. So M1, we know that the graph is like up and down and stopped out at 193. Let's look at the completeness of the data. And it seems to me to be that there's also gaps in the data. Let's look at the report. I don't know why. Okay, let's try 15-minute. It also could be because like maybe on my system, the data for that's not complete. So let's try 15 minutes, see if we get a better quality. Okay, I think we can try 15, 30, and you know, the 1 hour. Let's look at the results we get. You know what? I'm gonna reset this. Whoa. Do you notice that's better?
Yeah.
I mean, the account started at 200.
Huh.
Oh, that happened. But it also went pretty low. Okay, so let's look at the variables. I think we're gonna, so this system right here, night profit, we're gonna do some tests. We're gonna try a couple of different time frames. We've got a 1 hour, and the 1 hour finished up with quite a risky graph, but it is actually, you know, about double the account. And then now we're gonna go to the 30-minute and run the same test. The above line is the equity, and I mean the floating equity, and this is the balance. Okay, so it had a pretty close shave. It was dancing with death right here.
Yeah.
And let's see if the 15-minute survives. And later we will optimize a bunch of things. This whole time the quality is pretty good, so I think we can believe that. And the data doesn't seem to have any breaks, is continuous as well. But this one had a premature death, that's why it stopped on the 12th of March. Died within 3 days.
Yeah.
So seems to me that the hour is the best, and I'm just going to run that again just to get an initial idea how long this survived until. Wow, that actually went all the way to yesterday. That's not bad. So now we look at the trades. What we're going to do here is, you know, let's see how it's trading, and then we can see how we're going to tweak it. Let's do that. How I want to tweak it. Holy shit. Seems to be trading in both directions, like a hedging system.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. I'm also looking at the levels. Stop losses are about 300 pips away. It's kind of good that it has stop loss. These take profits, I think. But obviously, the problem with this is that it's kind of too risky. It looks very exciting. But at the same time, I also see that the trades are being held for quite a long time. So based on this visual test, I want to shorten the trade holding time. and I want to reduce the floating risk. So these are the things that we're going to work on. So now let's start doing some optimization. When we optimize, we always do one thing at a time. Why I like to optimize this system rather than the other one that you share with me, because the variables are very little. So this should be done quite fast. So first of all, magic number is just the number for the EA. It doesn't matter. But let's say if you're running it on a different chart, then you want to have a different magic number. That's basically it. So let's say you've got Euro USD, you can just change it to anything you want. But different one currency, one magic number. That would be the best way to work if you're running multiple EAs at the same time. But nowadays, most brokers allow you to open multiple sub accounts. So I actually prefer to run, on multiple accounts instead, so that sometimes, if the market is bad, you don't want to have the different drawdowns to come together at the same time and bust your account. Now we're gonna minimize risks. This looks interesting. So I don't know what the values are. I'm gonna do like 0, step 1, and I don't know how high this even goes up to. So I'm just gonna do like 20, and we'll just do one thing at a time. This seems like the most logical thing to start with because I think the risk is a little bit high. So it's gonna run them through all these settings, and I'm just to minimize the time. I really should be doing this for at least 3 months. But to save the time, we'll just do this based on 1 month, and that should be okay. So now it's going to give me some results. Minimize risk 3, minimize risk 4, minimize risk 5, 6, 7, 8. And the thing that I'm looking at is actually about the drawdown. So now I look at the journal. It says 10 results were discarded as insignificant. So basically, I think the option only is up to 10. That's why it gives me just between up to 10, and there's nothing more than that. So I just want to confirm this by doing a little test from 10 to 20 and to see if that's true, because I don't know the settings. I don't have the coding. It's just an ex4 file. If I had the MQL4 file, I can see what the settings are, but now I have no data. And okay, so basically we know for sure that it's from 1 to 10. Now I want to see if they have the ability to let us test based on half decimal place. So we're going to do 1 to 10. We want to cut the value down as little as possible, because when you cut the value as little down as possible, it's less time to test, and at the same time we don't want to overblock the system down with too much data. So now we're going to do like a 0.5 at a time. No, we can't. Okay, so basically, I think that brings us back to the earlier data. We're going to just pick the best setting from just now. So what is the best? It really depends on you. I mean, what's okay for you? So let's say, I think maybe you might be thinking the return for this is garbage. And what bothers me is that there's no profit factor. The total trades is 2. So that's actually really bad, because I like to kind of like spread out my trades a fair bit, because that distributes. I honestly prefer number of trades for something like this kind of system. It should be over 100 in a month, that over 3 trades per day. So what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to increase the account size, and let's actually run this test based on a different account size. So let's do this with 1,000. Because sometimes, like if the account is undercapitalized, maybe that could be the reason why we're getting these stats as well. But then again, like people who run a small account, maybe the mindset is very different from those who run a big account as well. So okay, well, if it's a small deposit, let's just take a bigger risk. But obviously we need to, that can be done, but we need to do like a longer term testing, like 3 months, 6 months, see how that's going to hold up. But now we're doing it on a 1,000 account, so maybe this will affect our figures a lot. So let's have a look. Now that's not so bad. With a $1,000 account, I mean, this is bearable, because it's just not realistic to have a system like this for something that trades so much. We can see on the chart, to make it trade just like 14 trades a month, that doesn't make sense. So based on this, I think we can go with maybe even this second one here. I think this is reasonable, about a 20% drawdown. The trades is just about right, not too crazy. And in terms of, actually this one is also worth looking at, but I mean, the number of trades is just too little. So there are many different ways of looking at it. I mean, some people like to optimize based on profit factor, like being the highest to the lowest. But for me, I like to also have a good distribution of the risk. Based on this, I think we're going to go with this one, and we're going to do, a test and see how that works. Let's check out the graph. So briefly, it went under, and then it went up. And I think, well, to get a better idea as well, while we're looking at that, we're going to do a visual mode. And we'll see what kind of aspects need to be tweaked. Now, I go to the results. I want to see how often it's trading. The problem right now is that it's trading several times per hour. So I can tell from this that it doesn't really matter. I think, it has its own time frame. So just leave it on a H1 is fine. You don't need to set it to an M1 at all. It's trading too much. I would like it to, put in some, hang on, by the hour. That's fine. That's actually fine. I want to see when it's making all these buys and sells on hourly intervals. It's trading quite a fair bit. Unnecessary risk. So you know what? Screw this. We're gonna. I don't think that could be the best idea. Let's try. Let's try this one just for comparison. Yeah, that's much better. The trade holding time is still about the same. Not too crazy.
Yeah. Slow and steady.
Yeah. Look at the graph. That's good. Yeah. Look, steady increase. Much better. No drama. Right. We don't want that kind of drama. So even with these settings, maybe we can try run it on an M30 and see how the result is. H1's better.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, no point to run this. It's opening too many trades and counterproductive. So H1 is the best. M1 is going to be even more crazy. Okay, so now let's go on to the next variable. Now that we already have one variable, so like we already chosen the 7, we're gonna uncheck this one. Now we already decided we're not gonna do one trade at a time because it's too slow. We only get a few trades per month. Now we're gonna tweak around the stop loss and the magic number. When I tweak these things, as much as I like to do two at the same time, actually we can try to run two at the same time, but I think there's going to be too many variables. So I'll rather run it like one at a time. And I'm going to do like, okay, first before I can decide on this, I'm going to look at the results. And I want to see when there's a TP. It's sorted by timing. Oh, that's 300 pips. It's way too much. No wonder. So we may have to go back to the other stuff again. This is like 300 pips. So that's going to be very long term. And maybe that's why the data is kind of off. So I think we may have to, but risk 7, I think we still can play that. Okay. So we're going to keep this. We have 6. We have 6, we have 7. We know that works. And this one, I'm going to start with, like, say, 5. 1. The recommended is 300, so we're going to run it that way. Hang on. There we go.
Oh, it's still not doing.
What do I have here? That's only one though. Okay, let's, to speed up the process, we're going to make it in blocks of 10. Then we can zoom in on one. That's better. Seems to be the case that it's meant to be for the higher pips. So based on this, I think I need to start the number higher. So I'm gonna, now that we know it's in that higher area, we're gonna start, let's say like from even 270 all the way up to maybe like 400. What is good about this system is that the stop loss is less than the take profit. That's actually good. So now we can see there's kind of a sweet spot over here, 290.
Yeah.
Now we fine tune. So let's take from 280, step 1, all the way to 200. So we find that the sweet spot is actually around 286. No, hang on. Let's go to profit factor. The highest one here is 297. That's odd. Okay. So now that we have this, we are gonna optimize on our stop loss. So the same thing, we're gonna take, let's say 100, all the way to 200 to make it faster, and then we're gonna zoom in. Okay, so again, based on profit factor, it seems that the best setting is, hang on, no, something here. So let's find the sweet spot once again, 180. 110. Now I'm choosing based on drawdown. If the drawdown can be reduced, then I will prefer to pick that, even though it doesn't affect the profit by much. So this is interesting to me. This actually makes me want to do an even lower test. This tells me that maybe I can try from 50 all the way to 100. And then we'll try that again. Check this out. That's really interesting. Now let's go into this one. Make it to 10 all the way to 100. Let's see how that works. Sort by the, okay, this is very low drawdown. The trace is the same, but it's almost like a guaranteed profit.
Yeah.
And this is interesting. So I'm just gonna screenshot that. And we could run different tests. So this one, profit is low, but so is the drawdown. And remember that our take profit is very high. Yeah. So the risk reward is insane. It's through the roof. What we may want to do is that we can actually increase the lot size by 4 times. But think about it, hang on. If we increase the lot size by 4 times to make it like this, no, but actually, you know what? This one still outperforms. So screw that idea. Let's pick these ones. So if all this doesn't really matter, I will just pick the lowest one. Because if all that doesn't matter, I'll just pick the lowest one. and then now I run a visual test, and now we'll see how it works. That's good.
Yeah.
Way better. Not too crazy. So the peak is only like $50 down. That's quite safe, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And now we look into that's actually all that we can tweak. And now that we've got this, maybe we can try this one again and see how we'll do with a different risk setting. There we go. Holy shit, 1,000 profit? Seriously? The drawdown's not too bad. It's not too bad.
Pretty good, considerably.
So this kind of comes back to you. I mean, what's acceptable? I think we more or less have a winner right here. Something that's a reasonable drawdown that we can accept. I think these ones are outs. These two are like only from 6 to, only from I mean, these lower ones, because earlier one, the trade is way too little. So I think between 22 trades to all this, that's actually okay. How about I let you pick which one you want to try for 3 months?
Let's just roll with that one. The one you got highlighted already.
Which one?
The one you have highlighted already, that's fine.
Yeah, okay. Let's try this, and then we'll try and go back maybe to January. And we'll see how that runs. Now you kind of get the logic, right? When we do the optimizing. So one thing at a time. And then something like we kind of like failed a little bit earlier because we did one of the settings. We had to go back to a previous setting. Sometimes, you know, like when we see the chart, we have an idea of what to tweak. Then, yeah, you get the logic pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. Now that I see you do it, it's a lot easier because
Yeah.
I never figured out that it runs better on H1 and not N1 because would have kept losing money.
I see the graph. Nice.
Very nice.
And what's the max drawdown? The max drawdown is just, you know, not too bad. Gross profit, gross loss. Notice that the profit factor for the longer time is actually different from here, but not too different. 148, 157, that's not too different.
Right.
Would you like to try a different one?
One, maybe with a lower drawdown, maybe the 5.47, and then I want to try one with the higher one.
5.47. Which one is that?
The third one, number 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very clean. Only went $20 down.
Yeah.
That's good. And now let's just go all the way with this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I think these two would be interesting because there's a lot more trades, and I want to see whether it goes. Which one goes kaput? I think one of them will go bust. Oh. What the hell? Let's go to results. See what happened. Let's see when it died. It died within a month.
Wow.
31st of January. Now let's try this one.
Nothing to have.
So maybe your other EA is different. Your other EA maybe is better for high frequency trading, but this is not a high frequency trading EA. This is a long-term trader. Check out the graph. That's not too good.
Yeah.
Not too good. I mean, the profit is insane, but it nearly went out of money.
Yeah.
So we can't do that. Let's try this one, 139 trades, because we want to get an idea of like how many trades it should be doing.
It still might be too much.
What's that?
said this one still might be too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it go.
But now you can see, you know, like with a bit of optimization, you can totally change the behavior of a system.
Yeah.
So we know that doesn't work, and I think you know, these would be the,
Right.
like, all these ones are pretty good. We have to see the difference between them. Like this one, maybe even this one.
Mhm.
We haven't tried that one yet. Let's see if the graph is even better. We want something that doesn't make big losses. Yeah, that's pretty good. This did all the way to 1,281. Earlier we did this one also, and let's see what the result for that one is. That's a winner. I think this is a winner. And of course, there's also this one, which is lesser drawdown. This could actually even, you can see, this one had less absolute drawdown.
Mhm.
So it kind of depends on you. I mean, the difference is maybe not like, you know, like this one went down to what's that, 940 ish, which is not
Yeah.
too. Yeah, they're all kind of okay. So like these three are quite close, but in terms of highest profit, it would be this one. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go to expert properties. You know, now we have to save. I'm gonna save it, and I'll send it to you.
Okay.
What would be interesting is that if we ran this site for a year, actually even 6 months is fine. Just gonna run that. But I mean, just based on the risk reward, I mean, it should be quite a no-brainer because the take profit is so many times of the. Nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Not at all.
Yeah. And you know, maybe the thing that you can play with right now is you can start playing the lot size.
Right.
So yeah, this is not bad. See, we can kind of increase the profit by quite a fair bit, and the risk is not too much. And this is actually like all the way from, well, the data is not that complete, but it's from December 11 to now,
Yeah.
which is quite good in my opinion. Yeah, so this will basically, I mean, this bot is quite easy to test because the variables weren't too many. Otherwise, if there are more variables, we got to do them one at a time. Many people make the mistake of trying to do several variables at the same time. You notice that MT4 can only test 576 at one time. So anything outside that, you discard. So you're not going to get a good test. Like some tips, as you can see, if there are things that need a lot of variable, like number of pips, then you can try from you know, you can go in tens first, so you can sample over a big range. Find an area where there's a, you soon identify like there's an area of like diminishing return. So you pick something that's somewhere the peak or near the peak. Then you pick, instead of going a step of 10, you do like a step of 5, a step of 2, or a step of 1, and basically do that for every single area. And then basically that's how you will find. You can do this on your own for the different currency pairs. But you know, usually I would recommend that if you are getting decent results on one, there's not much of a point to do multiple pairs. Or one thing you can do is that, let's say, you know, if you're doing 0.01 here, maybe you may want to try another pair 0.01 as well. But if the result is not as good as this, you may just want to do 0.02 just on this one alone. Let's say if it was a 1K account.
Right.
Yeah. But let's say if you're running this on a 2K account, just keep in mind that this one, it ever went down by quite a fair bit in the beginning. So I think we're undercapitalized. And like, it's okay to run it on a $200 account, but you may have to go to a broker that has a cents account. So then you can proportion it better. Because let's say a cents account, that will be 20,000 cents, and that's not bad. So you can you can do the lot sizing better for that. That would be if you want to run it optimally, because if over this one, in my opinion, is that 0.01 lot may be a little bit little, but 0.02 is a bit too much. So somewhere in between, if you could do like a 0.013, that would be ideal. So unless the only way around it, either have a bigger account, but I think it's still not optimal in terms of the lot sizing. So you need a sense account for this.
Yeah.
Find a broker as a sense account.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Man, this was
Pretty much
good.
it.
I learned a lot, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. So once again, thanks for letting me help you out on this, and I'll send you the set file after the video.
Okay, yeah, sounds good, man. I appreciate it.
Okay, bye for now.
All right, bye.